Far off, in a distant world, a group of characters brought to life have before them a prophecy they must fulfill. Many stories have been shared about them, and yet new authors have stepped forward. This world is meant to be a second chance for creativity and free expression, and yet the poet's license has been revoked as fiction becomes reality. Daniel as Zorro, Alex as Winnie the Pooh, Jen as Vanessa Helsing, Kayla as Alice, Taylor as Dr. John H. Watson, and Justin as your dungeon master. Will this litany of literary heroes be able to live up to their legends? Or better yet, can they write their own? So You Wanna Be a DM presents The Public Domains. Hey gang, and welcome back to another episode of The Public Domains. I'm Justin, I'll be your dungeon master for this series, and I'm joined today with a group of incredible literary legends. Let's go around and introduce ourselves, do any plugs, and tell the gang, the other gang, the chat gang, who you're going to be playing today.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Daniel, and you can find me on TikTok and YouTube at Daniel the DM. And as it says down below, I'm playing Zorro.
I'm Taylor. I am also part of the Soyouwannabeadm podcast. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Go find us. All information's down in the bio. And I will be playing Dr. John H. Watson.
Hello. I'm Jen. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Cancer Moon Cleric, and I'll be playing Vanessa.
Howdy, everyone. I'm Kayla. I'm one half of the Potions and Potpourri podcast. You can find us under the same name on most of the socials, and I am playing Alice.
Hello, I'm Alex, and I am going to be playing Winnie the Pooh for this wonderful session, and you can find me on my socials as Pisces Moon Paladin.
Amazing. Okay, so before we get into episode 5, let's start like we always start, with a little recap. Last we left off, our literary heroes successfully acquired the powerful sword and legendary artifact known as Excalibur. Now they have 2 out of the 3. In the process, they defeated the March Hare, befriended the Dormouse, and killed the Mad Hatter. It was revealed that the Hatter was the one responsible for burning down Alice's childhood home in the hopes of tracking her down. But why exactly? In fact, many questions still linger in the air for our heroes. Who sent Vanessa Helsing a cryptic message, if not the Sanguine Chapel? What about the strange words written in Pooh's notebook about helium and honey? What is Kim Moriarty plotting, and furthermore, what is her motive? Our heroes didn't have long to dwell on these mysteries before the mighty Jabberwock landed in front of them. Luckily, it was just a small splinter that plagued the beast, and so, with the speed of a mythic dragon, the literary legends are whisked away to the Thousand Acre Woods, the homeland of Winnie the Pooh. So, let's get right into it. Gang, here's what you do when you accidentally give an adventuring party a dragon.
You action search.
You fast forward. You fast forward. You fast forward and you say, so the dragon has already dropped you off and have flown back to Wonderland, to its natural habitat, which is where you would want it to be. That's where it's happiest.
Smart. Clever.
And so now you find yourselves on sort of the outer ring of the Thousand Acre Woods, an absolutely massive forest, similar to the Pine Barrens in many regards. First and foremost, just to give you a visual really quickly, what you're seeing is just millions of trees that are only like maybe a foot wide diameter in terms of trunks, but they go very tall. They're very tall. There's very few branches until the very top. So it's one of those things you can't see very far simply because of how many trees there are. but there's not much underbrush. You're stepping on what seems to be a perpetual forest floor laden with dead leaves and other like detritus, but there isn't like bushes. There's not a ton of underbrush. The other thing, and Pooh could also corroborate this, there is a perpetual fog as well. So kind of a low-hanging, dense fog. It's only probably like, let's say, 2 feet from the ground. So it's just coming up to like your knees, maybe, depending on your height. But just about to your knees and below. As you're walking through, Pooh, this is your homeland. Is there anything that you would all like to discuss? Any plans? Any parts of the mystery to discuss or anything like that? Where are we at? Let's start there.
All right. So, Boo, what can you tell us about your home? Anything we should know about? Tips, tricks, survival top 10s?
Who is just busy vibing right now. They're in like such an ecstatic mood as like they are in their home like territory, with truly some of like their newest, just like newest, most favorite friends with them. And I think they're just like, unfortunately, not registering what you're saying as like the internal monologue of like an orchestra is playing inside, and they're just like, hum-de-dum-de-dum, hum-de-dum, hearts so rumbly in my tumbly, time to munch and time to munch.
Fantastic. Well, so, let's take a look at the prophecy. Let's catch up with where we're at, I guess.
Yes.
Let's see here. So,
That would give
last
us a
part.
clue, at least, as to what we might be able to expect. It's been a little
Right.
confusing so far, but it has been coming true.
So last part was in the hands of one quite mad, where it's topsy-turvy and good as bad.
Oh, it's certainly
Finally, a vehicle to join the sky above the clouds, higher to climb.
Zorro, this is my favorite tree. What? Look over here. And Pooh's gonna take their breastplate off and just start rubbing their back along this just massive tree, and just like fully belly out, just start shaking.
That looks like a good one, my friend.
Oh, join along.
Oh, yes,
Could the vehicle be, though?
just rubbing my hand against the tree. That's a good question.
Was it not the dragon?
I asked that last time and Justin said no, not the dragon.
Right. Okay.
So, not that obvious, I guess.
Right.
You guys don't
Right.
think it's the
Fair.
You guys
It's not a vehicle.
think pretty quickly that it's not the dragon.
Well,
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
was the dragon, it's that way.
Well,
Back in its natural habitat.
Hot air balloon.
Listen, Pooh, who else lives around here? Oh, sorry,
Yeah, I was gonna
what'd
say, does Pooh think that Christopher Robin is still around the woods, or is he long gone?
I don't know if Pooh would know where Christopher Robin used to live. Knows that he moved away from there. Doesn't know where Christopher Robin currently is. I'll say, Pooh, make a you're an Eldritch Knight. Your intelligence should be halfway decent. Let's say a history check with advantage.
Ah, neat.
Wasn't expecting the word neat.
Well, don't sound too
Was-
excited.
Wasn't expecting the word honking. With a
nobody
plus
ever
2, that's 17.
Okay, 17. You know that there is one particular place that could offer refuge, shelter, resources, a hot meal, the kind of in the similar vein that like the Emerald Inn offered you a little bit of respite and like an opportunity to recharge and get your bearings before the next leg of the journey. You know that there is like a treehouse community called Nottingham. It's spelled very annoyingly. Notyngham.
That's very annoying.
Hey, bing it, chat. Okay,
Bing it.
That's how Nottingham was spelled in the OG Robin Hood. Okay,
Don't you dare hit Google. You ding it.
just bing it. That being said, you know that is a option, but it's a decent amount of travel to get there. You also know that you could get better directions and or shortcut. Because as much time as you've spent in the Thousand Acre Woods, it's just big enough that you haven't explored all of the Thousand Acre Woods, right? Like when your friends and Christopher Robin and everybody was in town, you guys adventured, but you're not checking out all 1,000 acres,
Would
right?
you say we only explored maybe 100 acres of the woods?
That's exactly what I would say. That's
Okay.
exactly what I would
Okay.
say.
Exactly
No
to
more.
the acre.
And no less.
Thank you.
But you know that there is there's an individual who is somewhat of a local who is a little cantankerous, like one of those people that like is just as likely to be like, get off my lawn, as they are to be like, all right, I'll help you out. I'll give you some advice, kiddo, and that kind of thing. And that would be somebody who goes by the name of Creature, and they live in the Black Lagoon.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that like
Naturally.
while you ask Pooh Bear, they're just gonna be like thinking very deeply while scratching their back on the tree and be like, "Oh,
King, what's happening?
perhaps we could try our luck at Nottingham Hill, or if you're feeling rather brave, we can try the Creature in the Black Lagoon."
Which is closer?
The lagoon.
Perhaps
convenient.
Black Lagoon.
perhaps
Is the
lagoon.
creature friendly?
As far as I can remember, it's never shared its honey with me.
Well, that
Is
could
it-
mean a lot of things, Will, as unfortunate as that is. However, what I wonder is if it will take kindly to us just strolling into its habitat.
I suppose
Yes,
there's
nice.
only one way to try.
I'll be as polite as possible, I promise.
Oh, you have
We
the
should
soft
probably put
touch,
Zorro up
Zorro.
front. Good
Yeah.
point.
That's a
Well-
very good point.
We should put Watson in the front to trigger the traps. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke, it's a joke.
I'll just. Sure.
Yeah.
There's one.
All right.
There's one.
Flying. Yeah.
There's one. Look
You
out for
do
that.
notice. Yeah. You do notice Watson as you begin to take flight and look down, playing along and looking for traps.
Mhm.
The fog is too thick to actually look through. Like when you guys look down as you're walking, you can hear the crunch of dead leaves under your boots. You cannot see your shoes. And this fog is like it's in every direction. It seems to go on in infinite. But with Pooh's help, it is easy enough to traverse until eventually you would be able to see a clearing where obviously there aren't a dense amount of trees, as there is a large black lagoon.
I think
It
to
almost
help
looks
out-
like oil. It's so black.
Yeah, I think to help out my friends, I think because I realized the figurine of Wondrous Power has 3 different figurines, and they're all like have separate cooldowns.
Mhm.
So I want to use the Eeyore of Traveling, which
Okay.
has the same stats as a large goat.
Yes.
It has 24 charges, and I can use each one of them for up to an hour. I'm just going to go ahead and expend all 24 charges just to have Eeyore around, because the vibes are immaculate every time he's around.
Literally.
And then also ritual cast Flock of Familiars if possible to get the rest of the troop out. You know, we're in home territory.
Gang's
all
We're having a
here.
good time. I want to maintain the vibe. It's, these are my
Mhm.
friends. I want everyone to feel as welcome and as happy as possible here. I think I'm going to try to do that and try to get some, find some hidden honey pots that I might have left in some roots of the trees, and just, make sure everyone feels welcome and loved.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So you throw down one of your figurines and it morphs into a larger than life version of Eeyore, large enough for, I guess, a giant goat. Technically, not everyone can ride on a giant goat. But we're out of combat, so I'm kind of cool with it. If everyone wants to jump on to Eeyore, I'm fine with it. But Eeyore appears and says to you, "Oh, you're calling me to do a favor again?"
I just missed your face, and we're home now, and I just wanted to make you understand
so we
that
are.
we're here together, friend. If you would like to help some friends through this nasty, slicky mud, it would be rather helpful. But of course, don't have to push yourself either.
I guess I'll help.
Oh, thank you,
Okay,
friend.
you can get on, I guess.
Thanks, Eeyore.
Whatever. And you can get onto Eeyore as it's gonna take the first like little bit of journey as you start casting Flock of Familiars, and Piglet, Rabbit, and Tigger appear as well. Piglet says to you, "Oh, geez, bud. Well, look at this. Oh my goodness, the gang's all together again. Plus
Was it-
these other people that you're friends with also,
Oh,
who we
don't
know
make-
because we've summoned us a couple times."
Oh, no reason to make it weird, Piglet. You know them quite
Oh.
well now.
Did I make it weird?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
That one just made a sound. Points right at Vanessa.
Listen, come on.
No, it's not weird.
Okay, I instantly trust you. Moving on. You continue to travel through the Thousand Acre Woods, closer to this massive black lagoon. As you get up to it, you do see it's just a lagoon. However, you see a doormat right on the edge of it that just says, go away. And then there's a mailbox. What would you all like to do?
Do we knock? Like on the
There's nothing to
mailbox?
knock on.
I think I would like point over to Zorro and be like, what do we do here, friend?
Ah, yes. In situations such as this, where you find yourself with a person who does not want to be talked to, you just kind of walk in and see what happens.
All right.
Oh boy. Okay.
Hey.
You could shout. It's up to
Hello?
you.
Vanessa, you begin shouting, and you all begin to hear bubbling from beneath the black lagoon. And as it begins to bubble, a creature slowly begins walking out of the lagoon, approaching the doormat and the mailbox and all of you. And as they get closer and closer to the shore, as the shore meets the actual water itself and it starts like walking up that embankment, you see rising out of the water is a fish-like humanoid, as you see creature from the black lagoon that you are all standing in front of. As he stands in front of you all and says,
Yes. What is it? Can you not read my doormat? It says, go away.
Thank you. Hey.
There's mud on it, and I couldn't quite read well.
Oh, is there mud on it? That happens sometimes. Dang it.
Doormat.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know.
and he goes over to the mat and starts wiping it off.
Oh, we can prestidigitate that for you. Don't worry about that.
If you could prestidigitate that, that would be great.
Does anybody have prestidigitation?
I got it.
Okay.
Pooh cast it. Okay.
Fantastic. All right, well, I don't accept solicitors. I don't know. I'm not big into faith. What is it you all want? You can't possibly all be selling baked goods.
No, we're here on an adventure. We're more so in looking for directions.
I won't be wrapped in another Ponzi scheme. Is that
That's
what
good
this
to hear.
is?
No, there's no pyramid scheme here. Have you seen a sky ship of sorts recently, or new residents coming in?
I have seen some strange new people I don't recognize. They're not locals of the Thousand Acre Woods. However, I can't say exactly who they were, merely what they looked like. I saw a large collection of beings who looked like they were without horses but had huge heads about them.
It's not us.
They were horseless headsmen. I saw a bunch of them. They were sort of walking very slowly through the fog, dragging one foot carefully behind them. But they
Total
seemed to
or
just
one-
be sort of mindless.
Do you
don't
mean
think we want to
1
meet
foot
them.
total or 1 foot for each?
Oh, I mean, yes, each individual person seemed to be dragging one foot, sort of sliding it across the floor as they were walking. Shuffling, really. But I don't know. They didn't bother me. I didn't bother them. Then
okay.
a couple days ago, there was some sort of earthquake. I didn't like that. I made sure to shake my fist at it.
Like
Which
this.
direction did the
One of these.
earthquake come from?
Which direction?
Well, you said, did you shake your fist in a direction?
Oh, I was in my home.
Right.
I was in my parlor room.
Did you hear any loud noises or anything, or was it just
Yes.
Other than the earthquake itself, sort of a rumbling.
right?
A
Right.
cardinal
It was-
direction of some sort?
I mean, it's sort of, I guess, I suppose if you head just a fur piece down the road that way.
Can I roll a check to see like what kind of direction creature is pointing towards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm assuming survival will do the trick.
Yeah, survival works. Perfect.
11.
11. Vaguely towards Nottingham, it kind of looks like.
We were going to go there anyways.
Have you by chance seen a vehicle in the sky?
No, I can't say I have.
Do you know somebody that would know about such thing that we could speak with?
Suppose. Sounds like something perhaps the big bad wolf might do, but he's always up to some shenanigans.
Hence
Do
the
like me
name,
some
right?
shenanigans.
He's a rebel without a cause. That's sort of his whole personality. Leather jacket, pompadour, you know the type.
Is he dangerous?
He's bad, but
Like
you know.
bad or like bad?
Yes. No, the first one.
Oh, okay. We can handle that.
All right.
Yes.
There's a bit of a difference. My friend here, Eeyore, is a bit bad himself.
Hello. Hello, friend. I'm bad. I can see that. Very good. So, I think you said you
Daniel, are you Alejandro or Zorro right now? In terms of
Alejandro.
appearance, at least.
Oh, in terms of appearance, it's Zorro outfit, but the mask is down.
Mask is down. Okay.
Yeah.
He looks at you and says,
You there. You said that you were looking for directions, instructions. What did you...
Yeah, I mean, is there anyone else around in this area? I mean, it seems pretty barren. There should be.
Oh, my
only-
instructions aren't good enough for you? My directions aren't good enough? You seem to know something I don't know?
Hey,
No, that's not what I was saying. We were just looking for as much civilization as possible. Because, like I said, we're looking for a big ship. So someone's either hiding
Right.
it somewhere in this forest. So we should, talk to as many people as we can. This is not a slight on you as a person. So I just wanted to make that clear. I didn't want
understand.
you to have this
You know
feeling
what?
of
That's fair.
disrespect. We came to your house, so
Right, this is true. My sign had mud on it, so you didn't know to go away. For this I will forgive you.
My
But,
neighbors.
are we neighbors? You live here? Have we
Yes,
met?
right down- Well, you screamed at me when I left.
Oh my
frisbee,
god,
but-
Pooh Bear, is that you?
It's me. It's me.
Goodness
grown, hasn't
gracious.
he?
Hey, you're honking big.
Listen, over the winter I might have bulked up a bit and might have hit the weights.
Very good. All right. Hell yeah.
I'm not staying at my place as much, but you seem pretty wound tight. Underneath my bed, if you'd like, there's a honey pot, but it's not full of honey. It's full of honey kush. You can take a little grab if you'd like.
Hell yeah. All right,
yeah.
good. I have a gravity thing situated underneath the water there. We don't need to get into the details. We're live. But know this. I will take you up on this offer.
Yes.
Now, if you're looking for people, more individuals, so to speak, so that you can expand your sample size, as it were, I would head to Nottingham.
Thank you.
It's actually in the similar direction that the earthquake was being felt.
Yes.
Although that being said, it did seem like the earthquake came the first time I felt it over here. Then a little bit further that way, and then it sort of epicenter-wise seemed to move. I don't know what that's about. I'm not a seismologist.
it was traveling.
Did they get stronger
guess.
at all, or were they just moving
Uh,
each time?
it changed a little bit. It seemed to lessen a little bit, but I haven't felt it. That, like I said, that was a few days ago. But if you want to get to Nottingham fast, I would head that way, 100 paces. If you hear the sound of bees, you've gone too far. You're looking for a tree. It's in all of these pine trees. You can tell that it's an aspen. You can tell because of the way it is. Once you find that,
Of course.
hang a Ralph. All right?
Oh, fuck you, Jess.
Hang Ralph.
Hang a Ralph.
Then
Ralph?
you're gonna it's
No, you hang
you
around.
hang a right, a Ralph, and then you're gonna hang a Louis. You
No,
know what I
we're
mean?
Are we hanging people or no? Like I get
No,
paid
what do you
extra for
mean? You're gonna make a turn. You're gonna turn right, Ralph, left, Louis, like that.
Zorro, should we go?
I understand. Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
and someone
However-
else is gonna. I live in a city. I don't know what an aspen is.
I already
I
know where
certainly
Nottingham
don't.
You'll
know
be
the
able to
paper
tell
on
because of the
different
way it
types of
is.
trees
Because of the way
based
it
on the
is.
name.
Oh, okay.
I already know the
Neat.
directions.
All right. Very good. So, once you find all of that stuff,
Mhm.
then you're going to want to. You're going to see a tree that has a small door on it. It looks like a jack-o'-lantern. Ignore that. You do not want to go into that one. But then there's another one that has just a very tall, thigh-high leather boot.
Okay.
That's the one. Okay? Open that door. That's a shortcut.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my
Is
goodness.
there anything else?
No.
Yes,
No.
actually,
No.
one more thing. A couple of
course.
years back, I lost my frisbee in your backyard, and you yelled at me before I could get a chance to get it.
Okay,
back.
I do use that to eat cereal most mornings, but do you really want it back?
Oh, never mind. I'll get a new one.
We'll get you a new one, Drew.
All right.
My God.
Have a good day, sir. Thank you for
Yes.
letting us disturb you for a few minutes.
It's all right. Again, there was mud on my doormat, so you
Yep.
couldn't have possibly known to go away.
Absolutely. But now it's clean, so other people shan't be bothering you again.
I hope they shan't. And he turns around and starts walking back into the Black Lagoon.
Prestidigitation, more mud on that mat. I'm just
Oh.
covering it. So like I'm doing it. So like words, it like spells out something else entirely.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of go away, it just says gay, like on the like, and then it's pressing. Yeah, it's perfect.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it so much. Okay.
Ooh, can I ask you a question real quick?
Oh, of course.
Do any of your friends or neighbors perhaps have burrows underground or travel underground at all?
A rabbit used to have a house that was burrowed downstairs, but everyone
The rabbit's
unfortunately
quite
has.
small.
Yes, quite tiny, and everyone has seemed to have moved out. Unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame.
Hmm.
So no large underground neighbors.
Okay, Pooh's thinking back, and would there be any besides Pooh that would be living underground?
Rabbit, but that's kind of it.
Yeah.
I was just trying to connect the earthquake thing with maybe something.
No,
some
it's a
trivia.
great question. Yeah.
I mean, they could be moving a ship underground, moving something
can I
underground.
do like a Can I do like a
You could do a
investigation
nature
or
or survival.
nature or survival? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
'Cause I
while
kinda
Watson
feel
does
like-
that, Pooh's
God
gonna
bless
pull
you.
out their
I was thinking
notebook.
you were about to sneeze.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Pooh's gonna pull out their notebook and look at the page again that says how heavy is helium and honey, and can they do? I guess an investigation roll in regards
Yeah.
to like, yeah. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then could I have the world's third greatest detective help me out here?
Piglet is on it.
Pig, thank you.
I got your back, bud.
Thank you.
You see, like, Piglet does that, like, cartoon quick change where they turn in a circle, like Tasmanian Devil, really quick, and they're wearing an identical outfit to Watson. They have the
Adorable.
little double hat on. They have a magnifying glass.
It's
I got it, bud.
You look quite
Um,
dashing in that.
Hey, right back at you, big guy.
That's gonna be a dirty 20. So thank you, Piglet, because that would have been a 2 otherwise.
Incredible.
Oh, dang.
Oh, that's right. So I rolled an 8, but I'm going to use my first portent roll to make it a 14. So 16
Ooh.
total.
16 total. Okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna do this first. So 16. Did you do nature?
I did, yes,
Okay.
because it was nature
With the
survival.
16
and-
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, cool. So the with a 16, you are piecing together. It doesn't sound like a natural you guys are all kind of guessing that already. It's not a natural earthquake, right? The fact that it seems to be moving and it's like lessening and stuff like that. It's happening in succession. I think with a 16, you might pick up that it seems like something. I think Zorro was the closest, but still a little off. It sounds like something incredibly big is moving.
Okay.
But you're looking at the creature from Black Lagoon. It could not be an earthquake at all.
Right.
It could just be the ground is shaking a little bit as something is moved or moving.
Right.
So the idea that it has to be underground, not necessarily the case.
I think some large creature has come through this area. Might have been footfalls that our friend was feeling the other day.
Oh, interesting. Perhaps we should keep an eye out for indents in the earth that could denote footprints or something similar.
Yeah.
See if that theory holds up.
Safest thing for us to do is get to Nottingham.
Oh,
Yes.
So, Pooh, with a filthy 20, thinking about this piece of information that called out to you in episode 1, back in the treasure chest all the way at Skull Island where you found the prophecy to begin with, I think you would know what helium is. You know that helium is an item or a material, a component, a chemical that can be used to make things float or fly, depending on your verbiage. And I think so that sticks out to you big time. You think, in fact, that might be related to the third part of this prophecy, to the third artifact, the flying apparatus itself. It might be something that is using helium as its main buoyant component.
It's a giant bumblebee.
Zorro, I think I have some Watson, Zorro, everyone, please come here. I think I have some information. I don't know if you
Yes.
remember this notebook from when we killed that rather large gorilla. I've been pondering this scribble for quite a while. It says, "How heavy is helium and honey?" And it clicked to me a while back, but back in my party days, I remembered what helium was, and well, it's something that can make things float. And you were talking about a flying apparatus of some sort, and maybe someone's doing something diabolical to my honey and putting helium in it to make something fly. I think they're trying to waste my honey. Well,
No, we must
we should-
save your honey.
we should
That's
put a
on the
stop
list.
to this.
That's on the
Of
list.
course.
Oh,
It's egregious.
Absolutely unthinkable.
it's so unnatural.
And yeah.
So
just
where would somebody get helium here?
I only know
Who's
where
to
to get
say?
the honey.
I think
Have
more so
that-
it's about what they're doing with it.
I really quickly, Vanessa said something a bit ago. It was probably actually 20 minutes ago. And I noticed it, but other conversation was happening, so it got missed a little bit. But it relates to one of your tarot cards. One of your tarot cards has a vehicle in it.
The hot air balloon, right?
Interesting.
Seven of
But why would it be
Cups.
making noise?
hot air
Like
balloon.
landing heavily?
Because it doesn't have enough air to keep up,
Oh.
Or helium.
or helium, and so
The
it
honey
falls
pot.
down. They fill it back up, and then it falls down a little bit farther away, creates a shake. There you have it.
Interesting.
I mean, let's look at this. There's another part of the prophecy. Middle of the woods, center of darkness, a path ill-advised for the heartless. Trifecta claim to break through the roof, break through the ceiling, a new world, a new story revealing. So
If anyone's feeling heartless, you should probably speak up now. It'd be really awkward if we got to the center. I'm looking at you.
Oh yeah, I should probably get going.
Oh no.
With that, I'm gonna say you guys continue. This is like a walk and talk. You guys are walking and talking as you're doing all of this. You find the aspen because of the way that it is.
Right. I mean, you can look
right.
Look at the way this one is, and then
Turn-
look at the way this one is.
It's so obvious. And so continue on your travel.
The difference.
Eventually, find a tree that has a door shaped like a thigh-high leather boot, and open that. And as you do, you guys all step through it, and on the other side, you see, like, at first, it just looks like you're in another portion of the Thousand Acre Woods. There's still the fog. There's still dead leaves under your feet. Pine trees in every direction. However, all it takes is you to look up a little bit, and you begin to see an entire little, like, community center. Like, it's very small. It maybe has, like, 24 people it could house, feasibly. But there are, like, a little treehouse situation up there. There's like maybe 3 or 4 tree houses that are interconnected with rope bridges and stuff like that are all situated high up in the trees.
Oh, kind of like Ewoks.
Kind of, yes. But that is not public domain.
But legally, it's not.
But legally, it's not. Nothing like that. But it is. So you see that there is a person standing at the base of one of these trees next to what looks like a vine and wooden elevator. And this person is rather large. They're like probably like 5'8", but like so like stout. Their stance is so wide, you could never knock this person over. Their stance is too wide. They seem to be wearing a brown series of cloaks and with like some rope tied around to form a belt. They seem to have this very center of their head is shaved, but the rest has hair. Pooh, I think you would recognize this person as one of the Drag King performers who goes by Friar Tuck.
I mean, Pooh's just crying. It's such
I was wondering where you're going with all that.
God.
It's so beautiful to be just like in the presence of just majesty as this. I think Pooh walks up and just bows and goes, "Hello, Friar. It's a pleasure to see you again."
Yeah, it's good to see you too, Pooh Bear. How's it been?
Oh, it's been quite a journey, but I do look forward to hopefully coming back and having another drag performance when I can.
Oh, well, I mean, shit, if you guys want to come in and everything... Oh, wait, hold on, there's actually a code word. We're on high alert recently. There's been some shenanigans going on in the Thousand Acre Woods, so we have a very top secret code word, and I'm afraid without that word, I'm not going to be able to let you in.
Oh, Friar, come on, you know me so well. We've partied
Pooh
quite
Bear.
a bit before.
I know, and we had some good times. We had some laughs, real belly laughs, real
Oh,
tummy laughs, but
Oh, yes.
unfortunately, I know, rules is rules though, you know, so unfortunately without that,
Please.
oh my god, is it? It's not please. That would be, imagine if it was. That's
It
not
was.
much of a code word, I gotta be honest.
Pooh Bear's gonna
But,
try something pretty devious here.
shenanigans.
And I think they're gonna repeat the same thing that Watson just said, but with big puppy dog eyes, in hopes that it's enough to persuade Friar Tuck that
I'm gonna tell you that it's not. You definitely need the code word. Friar, this is like, you haven't seen Friar Tuck like this, Pooh. Let me have specifically Pooh and Vanessa make insight checks.
Okay.
Specifically the two of them.
19.
19. Pooh, you're noticing Friar Tuck is on edge. Like, there's a reason that Friar Tuck is being so hardcore about this. It's, number one, not up to them. Friar Tuck's not like the owner of Nottingham. That's Robin Hood. This is just one of the merry men. It's out of his hands, and you can tell that there are circumstances that are making it like no exceptions. You have to have the code word. Vanessa, Vanessa, what did you get?
18.
18. Vanessa, Friar Tuck is sort of not in like a romantic way, but is sort of like checking you out in like a adoration way. Like,
Oh,
maybe knows you.
I'm sorry. Have we met before?
No, of course not. No. You definitely don't know me. We haven't had the pleasure, but I've. God, this is embarrassing. I've heard of your work. You're Vanessa Helsing, right?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, I'm a huge fan. This is so embarrassing. I'm a huge fan. Did you get? No, never mind. I can't.
No, please.
I can't. I'm not allowed. Anyway, do you have the code word? And sort of looks at you, Vanessa, with a little bit of a twinkle in their eye.
Perhaps sanguine?
Oh my God. Yes, you got it. Incredible.
That was you?
Push
Yes.
wrap
Well,
up
it wasn't.
Vanessa and do like a celebratory hug. Like, oh,
Yay!
Yes, it was. Well, I wasn't the one who sent it. Technically, Skaithlock is the one who sort of put it in your pocket. But listen, everybody come upstairs. There is so much to discuss. And put you guys all onto this elevator system.
Lots of good fly, right?
I was just about to say, like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I could have just flown up there.
See you
at any
later,
point.
suckers.
Yeah. I disguise self back into looking like Alejandro.
Okay, awesome. And with that, flight or elevator, you all managed to get up to the main building of these tree houses built on the top of the Thousand Acre Woods, and you have arrived at Nottingham. As you all enter, you see a beautiful stage, ruby red curtains that are drawn to the sides, lots of chairs and tables, a long bar, all built into this magnificent tree house. More like a tree club or ballroom or something like that. However, you see that there are a bunch of individuals are already in here. You see that there's currently a performance going on the stage. More on that in a second. Friar Tuck, as soon as you guys get there, Friar Tuck rushes over to two more of the drag kings. So these are women who are performatively dressed as like overextensions of masculinity and stuff like that. As you see one that is absolutely massive, like 6'4" maybe, and just built like a brick house, just huge. And you overhear Pooh, you would probably know these people, but everyone else, you overhear Friar Tuck refer to that person as Lil John. And then there's a kind of shorter, slender one that Friar Tuck calls Skaithlock. The three of them are all like giddily, like just like blushing, and are sort of like fully fangirling as they're pointing at Vanessa, and like freaking out a little bit.
Seems you're quite a popular one here.
Exactly.
I had known I would have.
Your recipe.
Did anyone have any doubt? I mean, look at the way she's magnificent.
Because of the way
Alice?
she is. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alice. I'm not letting that slide. The recipe?
What's the recipe?
What's the
God
recipe?
damn it.
What's the recipe
I was
that
trying to
Vanessa
say
has?
her reputation precedes her.
The recipe is also fair
recipe
because
for it.
look at her cook.
The secret sauce. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Secret stash.
Awesome.
Yeah, your recipe precedes you.
You also see there is a woman who seems to be dressed almost like Victorian princess kind of vibes. Like she's wearing like a ball gown, kind of stands out because not many other people here are wearing straight up ball gowns. Like there's so much tulle with this dress. The puffiest shoulder sleeves you've ever seen. As you just see a woman who's kind of like walking around, very like kind of casually bumps into, almost like a Roomba. It's like bumping into a thing and then kind of like just redirects, turns a different direction, bumps into a thing as she's kind of like sleepwalking. And then you see posted up in the corner in like an area that is unnecessarily dark. It's like for no reason. There's just as many lights in every area of the room, but for some reason there's more darkness in this one corner as you see a werewolf with a greased back pompadour and a leather jacket with the collar popped as he's just kind of combing his pompadour as you see the big bad wolf leaned up against the corner in the darkness.
Can I roll to see how hot?
Yeah. Roll a d20.
Oh, please.
I want to call odds or evens like last time, or is it?
Let's
just a
do
flat
high
roll?
or low.
Come on,
Okay.
Nat 20.
All right, let's go higher. Oh, okay, that dice is gone. It fell. New
Gone
dice.
forever.
5.
A 5? I mean, maybe to some, not to you.
Not your type. You
No
know you like
hair.
Dorian Gray a little bit better.
It got too much. It's too much product on his hair. He's so greasy.
I approached the big bad wolf.
Alejandro, you approach the big bad wolf mid-comb. He sees you, and before you get within 10 feet, he goes, "Wait a minute! All right, now I'm ready. You can approach. What's going on, friend?"
God.
Friend, it's the question of the day, isn't it? I could be asking you the same thing.
Yeah, I hear that.
So, what's the news around Nottingham?
Oh, I mean, apparently there's a lot of shit going down.
How about
Everyone
this?
keep it together.
How about this? I buy you a drink, and you tell me the nicest things that are going on. Next hour, whatever you want's on me.
All right, I'll take you on that.
Yeah.
Hey, barkeep, one strawberry milkshake. Yeah. The big bad wolf
Yeah.
goes over to the bar.
What the fuck?
It's a strawberry milkshake. Alejandro, as you get over there and start talking to the big bad wolf, the entire place, this is like an odd wording, erupts into a hush. It immediately gets almost silent so that you could hear a pin drop as a voice comes over a like magical version of a loudspeaker as you just hear,
Hey gang, guess what? It's time for our main act. Put your hands, paws, or whatever appendages, and if you could just bang on stuff for our next performer, Robin Hood!
and the curtains draw as music begins to play,
Oh, good, a show.
as you see a beautiful drag queen in brilliant emerald, like actual pieces of emerald adorn this incredible skin tight dress that has sort of like a mermaid cut to it. So for people who aren't aware, it's like very, very tight right up until like mid calf, and then it flares out kind of in possibly high heels. And as they sort of mince their way out to the center of the stage, there's a mic already standing there on a stand essentially, and they grab the mic and they begin to lip sync a beautiful song, and they give a dazzling performance, at the end of which they tear the dress away, and underneath they're wearing like a very skimpy number. Underneath of that, they tear that away, it gets even skimpier. Who knows when this can end? But before it gets too risque, it does come to an incredible close as the entire dance hall of Nottingham erupts into applause. And you see Robin Hood head back behind stage, presumably to their dressing room or something like that. And they will probably join the rest of the area shortly. But Vanessa, you are quickly approached by Lil Jon, Friar Tuck, and Skaithlock, who all rush over to you and are like, oh my god, we are such huge fans of yours. I just cannot wait to talk to you about. We want to know everything. We want to know what do you eat for breakfast?
Oh, let's see. I have some steel cut oats with
Classic.
hold on, I actually have it. She has. Yeah, I do some warm steel cut oats with some almond milk, with some fresh berries, and
Oh
a
my
nice
god.
broth made from bones. It's a bone broth.
Ah, that's amazing. Oh, you don't happen to be lactose intolerant, are you?
No, I just, high protein.
Ah, I totally understand. We're sort of IBS girlies ourselves, so we were hoping that maybe we had that in common, but it's fine. It's totally fine.
No,
The
no.
fan club's gonna be furious. Oh no. It is insane that we are meeting you here. What are the chances? But I'm sure you're wondering why we sent you that letter.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Here's the deal. We sort of recently became acquainted with a certain vampire named Dracula.
I'm sorry. What?
Oh no. Yeah, we're sort of followers of Dracula.
Casual name drop.
Can I mean, am I within like earshot? Can I roll an insight check on these folks?
You may roll an insight check. Yeah.
Okay.
Why would you do that on purpose?
Oh no, it wasn't on purpose. It was sort of you know what I mean? Sort of got bit. It was a whole thing, but now we're sort of stewards of the Dark Lord. Anyway, we heard about you when we were starting to do some research, and we heard about you and your predicament, and we were like, well, that's the dream. You know what I mean? So we just had to talk to you and meet you, and then we started learning everything there was to know about you, although there's not a ton of material out there. But, yes, what is your middle name?
Well, it's actually Vanessa.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sort of like a Paul McCartney situation. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Right, yeah. A lot of people don't know. I go by the middle name.
Yes. That is incredible. Well, gosh, I'm just blown away. So, it's partly because of our connection to Dracula, we have sort of come into awareness about this, looks around at kind of how busy everything is, and then leans in much closer and kind of like whispers to you, the prophecy. We don't know like all the details, but like we know that there is a prophecy.
Right. So
and yeah, like I said, I don't even know what the prophecy says. I just know that there is one, and that you were part of the sort of crew that was shepherding the prophecies,
right,
visions or whatever. And so then we were talking to Robin Hood, and we were like, oh my god, we gotta talk to Vanessa Helsing. She'll have all the answers. And so if you could just stay right here, we're gonna go get Robin Hood, and then you could tell Robin Hood everything.
Should we just go with you to...
Honestly, that probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, a
we
little
just
more.
speak with them in the dressing room.
It's
I rolled a
been
15
great,
on
Big
the
Bad Wolf.
insight.
Pooh, you think that they are just big fans of they seem trustworthy and are telling the truth, and probably are just a little like they're not at your guys' level. So like we used this example back in session 0, but like if you guys are the Avengers, they're just protecting Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
The
They're defenders or whatever.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
that's the difference. That's the difference here. They're small time, you guys are big time. So not going to be the most help to you in a legitimate way, but could be. And cut back over to Zorro, Alejandro, and the Big Bad Wolf.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was saying, my ex-girlfriend Sandy, freaking broke my heart, man.
Just
Freaking started dating this guy who I don't know. He throws a ball real good.
just
Whatever.
puffed and blew the doors down to your heart. Yeah.
That's what she did. Exactly. I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
She sort of took my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yes. But yes, like I said, you seen anything lately of interest?
oh yeah, I heard that there was this crazy sort of scientist or something, some kind of real thinker, you know. And she was brewing up a storm, not a literal storm. She was just, working on some experiments or something.
Interesting.
And she's, about a couple miles northward, I think.
You remember her name?
I don't know, man. It was kind of a weird last name. Sounded sort of European, but I don't know.
Moriarty?
What I can tell you is, say it again.
Was it Moriarty?
Shit, that's it, man. Dang, you know her?
I don't know her personally, but I know a friend of mine who's entangled with entangled? I don't know. Regardless, I know
Alright.
they're a nemesis. But
Okay,
beyond
I
that,
think
I
it's
actually don't know
Nemesis.
that too. But besides that, I don't know the full extent of their relationship. That my friend is very closed off about certain parts of their life. So,
Oh man, that makes my heart sad.
well, we don't need that. So you fill that sadness with sugar from milkshakes on me.
Another milkshake, Rory. And you see
Another
that
one,
sleepwalking
yes.
girl behind the bar just bumping into things. It just kind of like, yes, right away. Begins to make a drink as you see Sleeping Beauty has learned how to sleepwalk and talk and is the bartender.
Phenomenal.
Fixing things together, but also knocking over half of the things she makes.
And I catch up with the party and look at Vanessa. So, what is it like to have a fan club? Welcome to
Vanessa
the
got-
world of the famous.
Wheeled away.
I'm not, I'm not on your level, but I want to try something. And she reaches into her bag and she pulls out the giant gorilla's tooth and turns back to the kings and be like, well, I mean, I could tell you guys the story about how we got this. And I hand it to them. You guys can take this back to the fan club souvenir.
Oh my god. It's a genuine Vanessa Helsing article. The miller's son is never gonna believe this. We've done it, gang. We've collected a genuine article. Please, Vanessa, can you sign it?
I'll definitely sign. And she signs it and then kisses it and hands it back.
Oh my God.
And
Best
then Discord completely cut that off, but we all heard it.
Best day ever.
It's a very breathy gasp scream. As they all rush towards you just see a singular door that seems to be built into the actual tree trunk itself that has a gold glittering star on it that just says R.Hood in the center of it, and one of them rushes over and opens or cracks the door open, and he's just like, hello, Miss Hood. If you're decent and ready, there are some people here. They traveled with Vanessa Helsing. Remember we were telling you all about the monster hunter and the Dracula thing and the prophecy. And you hear some murmuring on the other side of the door. And all right, you can go in. And the door swings open and you all enter the dressing room of Robin Hood, star drag queen performer of Nottingham. As you enter, massive heart-shaped leather red couches. There's an entire circular shaped bed that has leopard print silk satin sheets on it, both silk and satin. It's a dual thread combo. So slidey. There's lots of mirrors everywhere and stuff, and shag carpet, and you see one of those like room divider accordion things, and as like parts of the outfit that you saw Robin Hood wearing are being flung over top of it and are hanging over it as you like can just see the silhouette of a person getting changed. And they put on a like one of those very sheer negligee things that has a lot of fluff around the edges, if you know what I mean. And they step out from behind the little curtain and they say, "Oh my darlings, absolutely fantastic. I was hoping you would all arrive. Look at, well,
Little curtsy.
suppose we should get down to business." "Oh, of course, and to you as well." And huge curtsy.
Hello.
Who is just starstruck, but also just like in love, and is just like stunned.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Says, "So, I'm sure that my merry men told you that we have become aware of the prophecy. They informed you?"
Yes, they did.
Very good. So, we were hoping that we could perhaps combine information, as it were.
Yes.
Does that seem amenable to you all?
Well, we just need to know that we can trust you. We've had a bit of a
course.
string of betrayals since the beginning of this journey.
Maybe
Several, in
sexy,
fact.
but we can trust you.
No offense.
Oh, no offense taken. I am sexy. So, let's begin. We shall put our cards on the table. How does that sound?
Oh, I take out my deck of cards.
Oh, brilliant. We played off of the words I chose. Here's the deal. Here's the deal, darling. We have heard of the prophecy through, unfortunately, some of my merry men were bitten by vampires and are thus stewards of Dracula. This you already know. Through that relationship, they became aware of something referred to as the prophecy. However, we were not able to glean much more past that. Upon pushing a little bit on some of my connections that I've made over the years with King Arthur and some people in Camelot, I've learned that your group was sent to investigate the prophecy, potentially help fulfill it. I also know that a certain schemer, a evildoer, a rapscallion, as it were, named Kim Moriarty, is working on something quite dangerous in these very woods.
Moriarty's
Part
here.
of it,
Oh, sorry, I
Yes.
meant to tell you before I walked into the room.
Quite all right.
My bad. things move kind of quickly. I don't know what you want from me.
You seemed very taken with the big bad wolf and his milkshakes.
Oh, well, no, I wasn't trying to. He just kept talking. Are you having a tone?
What
What is
character?
this? What's going on?
boys, do not fight. So, darlings, it has come to our attention that Kim Moriarty has been working on several little projects throughout these Thousand Acre Woods. We fear that they may not necessarily work in tandem in a sense of like, here's the lock and here's the key and they're together. However, we believe that their motives might be aligned in the sense of, well, better I show you, I suppose. And she goes into a like it was hard to notice because there's so many fabrics and different patterns of things on here between like leathers and silks and all these different crazy things. There's like fuzzy things. You didn't notice a beautiful like rug kind of, or like a throw blanket kind of thing thrown over a some kind of piece of furniture, like a tall rectangle. So it was probably like an armoire or something like that. She removes the throw cover, and as soon as she does, it begins to jostle around a little bit as if something on the inside is trying to get out. And you notice that there is rope tied around the two handles of these two doors that would open it up. And she says, so it appears that we were able to catch one of them for further analysis or possibly experimentation. Who knows? I think this might help answer one of the questions of what Kim Moriarty is working on. Are you all ready? As she goes over to it.
Crossbow.
Excalibur.
Gun ready with Eldritch Blast.
You're holding it like John Wick, like
Oh
so
yeah, I'm
close to
in
your
close
body.
quarters combat.
Yeah, up here, right here.
I love that. Okay. She looks at you all, and as you guys are all preparing for whatever is happening, opens up, like undoes the rope, and as the door opens, you see a full-fledged zombie exit the door and immediately start shambling over towards whoever's closest. What are you all doing?
I'll grapple the zombie immediately.
Scary.
Incredible. Make an athletics check.
Okay.
Give him a hug, Pooh.
I rolled pretty good.
22.
Okay, that beats a 7. You grapple the zombie. We'll say that you... Are you, like, grabbing it from behind?
No, this is more of like, I don't want... It's like, this is gross. I don't want it on me. So it's like just picking up from underneath the armpits and kind of lifting up kind of a grapple. Like when you, like, disarm a cat or something of just, like...
Yeah. The big difference is that this is one of those cats that does not like being held and is fully, like, swinging its arms and is, like, trying to, like, bite at you. But it seems to be, for the most part, like, contained. But Robin Hood sees this all go down and says, so that's sort of what we've been dealing with here in the woods. But we have reason to believe that she's actually working on something else. I believe, I don't know exactly what it's for, but she seems to have gathered every single red balloon that could be found in the entire Thousand Acre Woods.
There are 99 of them.
I was just going to ask.
That's not a good sign.
Probably more than that. I think that whatever she's working on, it requires a hell of a lot of latex? Is that what balloons are made of? No, right? Something else. Polyurethane? That sounds right, but I don't think that's right either. Sounds like a stretchy word.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I've
whatever
seen
balloons
up.
are made out of. Yeah.
Robin Hood, this may sound like a silly question, but do you know what's happening with our natural reserves of honey?
Oh.
Oh.
I do believe she is also... I don't have proof of this, Pooh, my friend. However, I do believe, my darlings, that she could be responsible for taking all of the honey.
Would it be possible for Pooh to just rip the zombie in half and just respond to this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
You fucking did what?
The legs are moving. The
Oh,
legs are
my.
moving. The legs are moving.
Oh, God.
Stomps the legs, just.
It's okay.
Well,
And-
that was actually quite hot. Okay. We're back together. Okay. So, That is the information that we have. I would love it if you would take that as a sort of olive branch and let me know at least a little bit of what you all know.
I have a follow-up question first.
Oh,
how
okay.
many of these zombies have you found in the
A good
woods so
number.
far? Really?
A good
They've
number.
been-
Probably at least
Frequent?
25 is what we have been able to report on. However, it does seem like Moriarty is experimenting.
Are they people that you recognize, or are they just random?
No. No one that I've recognized, or my merry men.
Curious. Huh. That does not sound good for the woods, though.
Yes, it does seem like she is working on other things, though. To zombify or resurrect or whatever. However one creates the undead.
What direction is she in?
Oh, I should say that she is much further north, my friend.
Have any of you made contact with her since she's been here?
No, we have not. We've simply been gathering information, waiting for the next
Sure.
steps to take. Either
Very
from
scary.
King Arthur's word, or perhaps you all could send us in a proper direction where we could provide aid.
Don't concern your pretty head. I'm gonna rip her fucking head off myself.
Okay.
Let's,
Pooh.
let's
Alright.
just table that energy.
That's-
for a moment.
Gathering all of the weapons and just laying them out to like set inventory of like 2 hand axes, 1
Uh,
pickaxe,
Yeah.
1
Miss
glaive.
Hood, do you happen to have any spare honey that we could give to our friend just to kind of
We don't.
calm
No.
down a moment?
We only have so much
Oh.
now.
Well,
Oh, you
Pooh
need
Bear, I know that it is quite possibly your favorite food. I would be amiss if I did not provide you with at least something to hold you over for the travel. Please, let
Would
me do this
appreciate
for
it.
you.
Just shaking
enough.
hands, just like so
Yeah.
anxious and upset. Like,
Okay. So I can say on
And-
our end, at least in regards to the prophecy, that we're ahead on them on pieces needed
Oh,
to
fantastic.
complete whatever this prophecy does. But that's the only leg up we have on them. They have the leg up on people, information. Every step of the way they've been ahead of us, or known
Yeah.
about the next steps we're going to take.
We have collected
Fascinating.
2 out of 3 of the artifacts, so I
Very
think
good.
we hold some of the power there.
All right, so it seems to be some sort of fetch quest, as it were. You're supposed to be gathering items, it sounds like. 3, you mentioned 3, and you have 2 out of them.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, all right. And you believe, I'm assuming you're being here in the Thousand Acre Woods, and also Moriarty is by no means a coincidence.
Absolutely
It
not.
is not.
Not at all.
All right. Well, and as she is talking to you, there's a very saucy painting of her on the wall, and she moves it aside, and there's a safe. So as she's talking to you, she's like doing a safe thing, and as she opens it, there's just a jar of honey, and she takes it out, and she
Oh.
gives it to you, Pooh.
it's a whole like pot.
It's like half full, but yes, it is a full pot. It's like a whole
Just-
pot, but
Without like makes eye contact as they're passing it to me. Fully just like corks off, maintaining eye contact and just
That should be better.
thank
all
you.
right. Of course, darling, of course. So
Write this
it
down.
is quite. I'm sorry. Say that again, my friend.
No, sorry. I was saying Vanessa should write this down. This information that is happening. But continue.
Of course. I was just going to say, it is getting quite late, and it does seem like tomorrow is going to be, sort of an all hands on deck. This is it. We are approaching. The storm is brewing, as they say, and we are going to need all of our wits about us. Everything recharged, ready to go. Have the most energy. And continuing the storm analogy, we could consider this night a calm before the storm. Perhaps we take merriment. Perhaps we imbibe ourselves with incredible jubilations. Maybe Pooh and I spend the night. I don't know. I'm spitballing. But something
Still in
could
the
happen.
room.
The penultimate chapter of the book.
Yes,
honey.
of course, penultimate. I'm a big fan of that word.
There is honey. Robin Hood and I must find in this room, and everyone must go.
Understood.
That's true. Yep. Sounds good.
You
I'm
enjoy
gonna
it? See you in the
Watson has
Alright.
gotten very interested in Excalibur all of a sudden as they're walking out of the door.
Deal.
Huh.
Incredible. As you all
goodness.
leave and the door to the dressing room is closed behind you all, I think the
Wow,
last thing
who?
you would hear before the fade to black is something to the effect of Robin Hood going, "Oh, darling, your tongue is scratchier than I imagined."
Who has
with
like
that-
10 foot of reach, so it's just far away, like from like the middle of the room. It just turns around, closes the door.
And with that,
my god.
we fade to black and we go to break.
All right.
And when we come back,
Gracious.
we'll continue on our journey through the Thousand
What?
Acre Woods. Thankfully, this first half had lots of laughs because when we come back, shit gets so real.
Great.
Awesome. All right.
Hey gang, I'm Justin.
And I'm Taylor. We're co-hosts of the So You Want to Be a Dungeon Master podcast.
We're two neurodivergent friends who wanted to talk about D&D and tabletop games.
But more specifically, we wanted to focus on being a dungeon master.
We know that for many people, the idea of running the game can feel daunting and even scary.
So we wanted to help remove some of the barriers and fears that prevent people from getting behind the DM screen.
It's our goal to make everyone feel comfortable enough to try being a DM.
We've got episodes on session prep, world building, combat, homebrew, and more.
And we're able to bring all of this to you, gang, because we're lucky enough to be sponsored by Big Milk.
Justin, we are not sponsored by Big Milk. I don't even think Big Milk is even a thing.
Agree to disagree. Anyway, we have new episodes coming out every Wednesday.
Check us out on all the podcast apps. So You Want to Be a Dungeon Master. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at So You Want to Be a DM.
Or email us your questions, stories, or ideas over at soyouwannabeadm@gmail.com. For instance, you can email us your favorite way to use milk. Maybe it's as simple as cereal. Maybe
I
maybe
have
it's in
to put a
cake,
stop to
or-
this. I have to. Justin, you can't keep inventing fake sponsorships. It's going to get us in trouble one of these days.
In trouble? Taylor, I think you're overreacting. It's not as if Big Milk is going to break down our door.
Justin, is there someone at your door?
Yeah, just give me a second. Hello?
Are you Justin?
Yeah? Who are you?
We're the dairy detectives sent by Big Milk. You're coming with us.
Hey, get off of me! You can't do this!
Okay. Well, that was terrifying. So You Want to Be a Dungeon Master everywhere you find podcasts. Check us out.
Hey, gang, and we're back. And the gang's all here. Last we left off, our literary legends found their way through the Thousand Acre Woods somewhat with the help of Creature from the Black Lagoon, and then eventually made their way to Nottingham, a strange but beautiful performance house and hideout and safe spot where Robin Hood, a drag queen performer, and her merry men, also drag king performers, although we didn't get to see them perform, unfortunately, who were big fans of Vanessa Helsing. Turns out they not only are also connected to Dracula in various ways, but were the ones to send that letter to Vanessa, giving her the code word to come to Nottingham eventually, and it all paid out. Or paid off, rather. Then we spoke to the Big Bad Wolf. Not super helpful, but fun. We got to talk to Robin Hood and discovered that Robin Hood and her merry men are essentially a smaller, lower tier adventuring party similar to you all, also sent by King Arthur to help protect the public domains. Shared a bunch of information. Apparently, Moriarty is collecting red balloons and honey and is stockpiling them somewhere north of here. She is also working on something that can create undead. And she is doing some sort of experimentation, possibly creating a defense unit, an army of some sort. And so, as we spend the night in Nottingham, you all can do whatever you would like to do. We can get into more details in the action surge. Stay tuned, chat, for that. But we know that there was a beautiful fade to black where the screen is the shape of a heart and sort of like shrinks into the screen for
Love that.
Winnie the Pooh and Robin Hood. And some honey was shared between two new friends? Lovers? Who's to say?
That's for Pillow Talk.
That's for Pillow Talk, which
That's
is a different after session show. Yeah.
That's exhaustion.
Different one. Yeah.
Hey.
3 points of exhaustion.
My goodness.
So we wake up the next day. Everyone is recharged. Watson, that does mean that you would get to re-roll your portent.
All right. I also would
Yeah.
like to. I also would like to spend some time. You said that Excalibur requires attunement. Would like
Absolutely,
to
yeah.
attempt to attune Excalibur.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely can do that. Who, by the way, is holding on to the library card?
I think I still got it.
Okay. Awesome. So, is there any idea or collaboration that you would set up, any like smaller missions or things that you would send Robin Hood and her merry men to do to aid your journey, to sort of assist in how they could assist? Or is there anything? If not, it's not a big deal. I'm kind of throwing it on you. They can help in various ways. They could even just dwindle the zombie forces so that you guys don't have to fight all of the zombies, and that could be easily something that they do.
Dwindling scouting.
Yeah.
Just a general for once, for us to know what we're walking into.
Right.
Yeah,
Any bit
no
of
doubt.
information about our enemies
Mhm.
Yeah.
that know
For sure.
everything about us.
Little
Yeah.
true strike, maybe. Going forward.
As you all begin leaving Nottingham, Robin Hood and her merry men with you, she would tell you, here's what she says. She says, "So, darlings, it appears that we need to travel so far north. It's not necessarily that much travel. However, we will be passing through a very dangerous section of the Thousand Acre Woods. And so I would like to caution you all.
It's okay. We have
You
Pooh
are
with
going...
us. They're strong.
I'm sorry?
We have Pooh with us. They're so strong.
Oh, of course. And I have nothing but faith in your team to be able to withstand these horrors. However, I simply mean to urge you to... there's going to be a section where the fog will begin to grow, and as such, you may begin to see things. I would simply advise not to take everything you see at face value. It's going to be quite frightening. In fact, it may play on your innermost demons. Figuratively speaking, of course. So,
Oh, not good.
well, best of luck. We shall be separating from here. We are going to be heading in the direction that we saw a troop of those undead. And hopefully by the time you all reach Moriarty's laboratory or wherever she's doing this experiment, maybe we will be able to find her stockpile of honey and balloons. Hopefully we have brought down as many of these undead as we can so that we can give you as much freedom as possible, so to speak.
We would appreciate that.
Yes.
All right. Let me give you one of these, and Pooh, she's going to give you a sending stone.
I think the second that she tries to like hand it to me, Pooh is gonna like grab the hand instead of the sending stone to like pull her in for a kiss. But like wait for like consent, obviously. So like pull in, wait for the kiss, and then after kiss, just kind of deeply go, what are we?
Oh my goodness, Pooh.
That's so funny. She says,
Oh
oh
my.
darling, I don't do labels very well. Let's just see where things end up.
That's okay with me. Pooh is Polly.
Oh, very good. I know a man. Well, technically they're a creature from the Black Lagoon. Quite a lover. Anyway, we should be going. Best of luck. And gives you another little kiss. And then Robin Hood and her merry men begin to head off in a slightly different direction. You guys are kind of like just forking and still going relatively to the same direction, but
Before they leave, can I give them some of my beans plant from my bag of beans?
Absolutely. Yes.
So it's either, you probably know, but it's either you throw the beans and they explode, or you can plant them, and then when you water them, they produce an effect. So I want them to kind of plant them near where they think Moriarty is, so that way I can water them when it's time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just as a
okay,
fail-safe.
cool. Yeah.
Little sneaky. placement.
I'll say, just for the sake of not making it super OP where there's like thousands of beans that are just planted, let's say that
Like
you're
5 or
able.
something, right?
Yeah, 5 sounds like an appropriate amount that I'm not going to regret. Let's say you give Robin 5 beans and she agrees to plant them if she can as close to Moriarty as she can. And you can roll them either now and hold on to them, or you can wait. It's going to kind of be the same anyway. Okay, cool. All right. You all begin traveling as a group. I want everyone to make survival checks first, just to continually make it through the Thousand Acre Woods, dense forest around you, just millions of these tall, skinny pine trees, dead leaves underneath your footfall. The fog slowly beginning to incredible.
The 22.
At 20, but I got a 24.
Incredible. 19.
I also got a 24.
Me too.
Oh, okay.
No
All right.
way. Go off.
What?
We're all, Watson, Vanessa, Alice, and Pooh are all just galaxy braining to the forest.
That's an aspen. No, that one's an aspen. Okay.
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
it. You get it now.
It's a little different around the ridges.
It's the way it is.
Yeah,
Wait.
okay.
The mycelial network! I can see through it!
The mycelium network. You all make great time. You feel confident that you are traveling in the correct direction. As you all begin traveling, I'm going to say, even with the fog, the fog makes it like nigh impossible to find tracks, just because the fog is so thick. Again, it's like it might as well be pitch darkness kind of thing. It's just this strange low-hanging fog that is so thick that you cannot see through it. So even if you were to get on your hands and knees, you can't get below the fog. And even if you use a quick spell to blow fog away, it's in every direction for miles. It just fills in. So it would only work for like a second, and then it would fill back in almost instantaneously. However, with at least 3 24s, a nat 20, 19, which is not low, being the lowest is impressive. And so you all find a rather large footprint that you nearly stumble across. As you find this footprint, it is like maybe 6 to 7 feet across from heel to toe, and it goes like a full foot into the ground. It looks like a boot.
Okay.
It's a footprint, but it's like specifically a boot. You're not seeing like the toes kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That would happen sometimes if it were like a king.
Pooh? Does
But
he
I could
perhaps guard a
remember.
beanstalk or something?
Would Pooh remember a giant in their woods?
No, you would not.
No.
Not in the 100 Acre Woods, at least.
The only thing giant I can remember right now in recent memory is this giant hangover.
Oh, buddy. That's rough, buddy.
As we continue, it begins to grow into dusk, a little bit darker. There's just barely light coming in from a like crescent moon in the sky, some scattered stars. But you all notice that the fog begins to grow not only thicker, but like taller. As it begins to come in, it actually begins to encapsulate your entire bodies until you're all blinded by this fog. There comes a moment when you're actually not sure where the rest of the party is. You were just traveling together. They couldn't have gone too far. You all begin to sort of call out for one another. And what I need is for everybody to roll, except for Pooh, a d20.
Just a flat 20.
Just a d20. Mm-hmm.
Oof. 6.
13.
Why am I? I'm so
5.
confused. I'm not supposed to roll.
Right.
No.
Concerned?
16 for Alex.
Alice,
No, you know the one. 16.
you said 16?
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations. You got the highest.
Thank you.
So, in this fog,
Hopefully.
you all begin to hear omnidirectional, which means from every direction. You hear the sounds of scurrying and chittering. You hear squeaking. And you hear swarms of some kind of small creature at the base running through dead leaves, approaching you all from every direction. And as you're looking around trying to find the source of it, again, blinded by the fog, you also begin to hear a thundering, like a stampede. Very different from the footprints that you have seen, and it's not giving off any kind of earth, like nothing that can be confused for an earthquake. But then you hear, at first you think it might be trumpets, but no. It sounds more natural than that. As you all begin to get swarmed first, as these small creatures begin to crawl up your legs and up your entire bodies, as weasels begin to scurry all over you. And then the trumpet sounds, wait a minute, elephants. As weasels and elephants from every direction begin to take you over, as these evil creatures, natural friends, bound together through the dangers of fear. And each of you experience a terrible vision. And we start with Alice.
Of course.
Alice, you find yourself back in your childhood home. You're traveling down a hallway that you recognize, but as you're walking down this hallway, it seems to continually grow longer, like you're never reaching the end of it. But there are doors on either side. What are you doing?
I keep trying to take a few steps forward, and I kind of mutter to myself, I'm here, but I should be there. Why can't I get there? And when I realize it doesn't get closer, I try and go through the left-hand door.
As soon as you reach for the doorknob, it burns you. The doorknob is burning hot, and smoke begins to billow from underneath the doorway as you realize the house is on fire. You begin to hear from behind you down the hallway, back from the direction you came from. You just hear a terrifying and goofy ass laugh that you recognize to be the Mad Hatter at this point. What are you doing?
I whirl around and try and find the source of the laugh. If I have my sword on me, brandishing my sword, my rapier.
You quickly turn around, pulling out your rapier. but there's nothing at the other end of the hallway. And then you hear the laugh again from behind you once again. You turn around again, but this time you see that fire is beginning to slowly, like molasses, slowly crawl up the walls of the hallway and is starting to take away any source of light from the ceiling. What are you doing?
I scream, Edith! Lorena! Where are you? Mother? Father! We must get out now. Hurry, let's go. I'll meet you outside. And I start trying to run down the stairs and waiting for them to respond to me.
You begin sprinting down the hallway. There's a brief moment of it beginning to elongate as you do, and yet you seem to have, like, it feels as though almost like you're passing through like a force field or something like that, some sort of magical barrier or even like a psychic barrier that you seem to pass through. And as you do, there is the staircase. You begin winding your way down this staircase that wraps around the main center of your childhood home. All the while, the laughter begins to grow as you hear the Mad Hatter chuckling as they say,
The roof is on fire.
and as you reach, no, this is scary. As you reach,
Yep, I'm
as you
terrified.
reach the front door
You're scared.
and swing it open, standing before you is the Mad Hatter. And we cut away from there.
Oh.
I know. And we head to Watson.
Oh no.
Watson, you find yourself in your study. It's morning time. You're having like morning tea. What would Watson be having for breakfast alongside like a cup of tea?
I don't know. Probably bread and beans. That's what English people do, right?
Beans on toast? Yeah,
Beans
yeah.
on toast? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. As you're having your cup of tea and your beans on toast, you throw open the newspaper. On the front page of the newspaper, it says, the headline is, "The Baker Didn't Do It." And you see a picture of the baker that you put in jail for stealing those diamonds and hiding them in the bread. And as your furrowed brow, you begin to scan the newspaper, reading it as fast as possible. You find out that you were wrong all along. You messed up. You missed a crucial piece of evidence, and the baker truly was innocent. And unfortunately, while in prison, was killed. And so an innocent man died because of your decision. And as that is all flushing over you, you begin to hear ruckus outside of 112A something street. I can't remember.
It's Miller Street.
Miller Street.
I think. Yeah.
You
'cause
begin
it was
to
the baker,
hear-
the miller, and the priest. So I took.
Yeah. You begin to hear commotion outside of your apartment. Do you go over to the window to investigate?
Yeah. I'll kind of peek my head, like open the curtain a little bit, and just kind of look and see who's outside.
You peek, draw the curtain slightly, and you see that your entire block on the street is flooded with reporters outside of your house. And as soon as you draw the curtain even a little bit, they see you and immediately begin shouting, Dr. Watson! Dr. Watson, what do you have to say about the incorrect crime that you didn't solve, actually, technically? How do you feel about an innocent man dying at your hand, technically, sort of?
I slammed
And
the
are
curtains
shouting,
shut. Yeah.
shouting at you different things. As you excuse yourself, throw back the curtain and embrace the solitude of your apartment once again, you begin to hear, off in the corner of your apartment, you hear Sherlock, who says, Who is the real detective? And we cut away from there.
Oh, dude. Even Sherlock was in on it.
Watson's fully dead. Just fully dead now. All psychic
Man, I
damage.
can't wait to see
all
how
at
it
once.
goes. Progressively, it gets worse. Great.
God damn, Justin.
Vanessa,
For real.
Okay.
the first thing you notice is that you begin to become bathed in a red light. And as you try and look for the source of this red light, you see a blood red full moon in the sky.
Oh no.
And as you've taken notice of it, you begin to transform against your will into a more feral form of your hybrid form. When that transformation finishes, you find yourself in a crowded town square.
No,
Not
no.
necessarily the one that you grew up in, but something similar. It has all the makings of a town that you would have grown up in. I want you to make a perception check in this moment, and you have advantage because you're in your hybrid form.
Oh, 14. No, that's not right. I took my lesser one. 11 plus. Where's my 14? No, 14.
Okay. Vanessa, you begin to see townspeople being attacked by vampires. Random innocent people in the street are being attacked by vampires. What are you doing?
I'm going to fight the vampires. I'm going to protect the people, of course.
Okay. You rush over to these vampires. You see them pale skinned, almost like gray, like very light gray skin, sunken eyes, pointed ears, sharp fangs extended as they are just tearing at different people in the streets, and you begin to come to their rescue. You start attacking these vampires. Just ever so briefly, describe to us how you would take out one of these vampires. You still have all your tools on you. I know you're in hybrid form and stuff like that, but...
She would, this would be feral and angry. She has a huge disdain for them, so she would savagely just biting and scratching and ripping with her bare hands, as many of them as possible.
Yeah. Okay. As you dispatch almost a dozen vampires, eventually the sun begins to rise and the blood moon begins to set. And as it does, your transformation returns back into your normal sort of true form. But you see that those weren't vampires that you were attacking, and instead you were the monster. And we step away from there and we head to Zorro.
Hola.
I've had goosebumps this whole time. Good luck, Zorro.
Thank you, Alice.
The order you guys rolled these in is insane. Zorro, in all of this fog, in the brief moments where you were able to register that you were being covered by weasels and that elephants were stampeding in all directions, do you think that it would make sense for Zorro to instinctually reach for his sword?
Yeah, he'd try to just summon it.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Perfect. You summon the hex blade into your hand. And at first you hear a familiar voice, that of your mother, saying, "Ah, mijo. Let us take care of these cretins and do what is necessary."
Of course, Mama.
and you begin slashing out at whatever you can. But then she continues talking to you, and you notice that there are some slip-ups in her voice. You notice that there are moments when they drop the vocal intonations that your mother would always use as they sort of catch themselves. And you begin to just hear laughter speaking to you from the blade in the same way that your mother has always spoken to you over these years of you taking the mantle of Zorro. As the voice changes, it goes from, "Yes, mijo, well done, muy bien," and begins to shift. "Very good, muy bien,
That's right, Zorro. Attack, kill, maim. Do what is necessary."
What do you think Zorro is doing in this moment?
I think stops. And there's a silence in his mind. And he just stares at his reflection in the blade. And he says, "What is my mother?"
There's a long pause, but as you stare at the reflection, initially just seeing yourself, you see that past your reflection, like the area behind you, begins to change. You're no longer in the Thousand Acre Woods. You're no longer surrounded by fog, but rather, and this is strange, you find yourself in a restaurant, sitting at a table. And as you're seeing all of this happen in the blade's reflection, and so you might not notice at first, but you're sitting down at this table and there's someone sitting across from you. There's a man who has a greasy goatee that sort of comes down to a point, a thin curled mustache and horns coming out of his head, wearing a scarlet red suit with a black tie. And he sits and puts his head into his hands, like resting them. And he says,
"Well, I see you finally figured it out, Alejandro."
"Who are you?"
"Well, I go by many names, but you can call me Mephistopheles.
"Devil."
I am the spirit, the demon, inside of your hex blade that has been passed down through your family for generations. I lend you my power. It's how you are able to do the things you're able to do. Ah, one moment, my friend."
and a server comes to the table, and you just notice that you have a menu in front of you as thick as a novel, each page laminated. This is like a 24-hour diner kind of menu. It is impossible how big this menu is, Zorro. And Mephistopheles looks at the menu, orders huevos rancheros from the server, and the server whisks away. You notice yourself having more hunger than you're ready for. This is not the time to eat. That would be insane for you to order food in this dramatic moment. And yet, there is a part of you that is hungry. But every time a server comes to bring food, they come closer and closer to the table, holding a tray full of food that looks delicious and picturesque. And just as they're about to reach the table, they turn away, and that food is meant for a different table. And they put it down, and you see everybody else in the restaurant is eating their fill. But this table receives no food, constantly getting close, but never quite arriving.
"So, you asked me where your mother was. Do you really want to know? Or are you afraid of the answer?"
"I'm afraid I already know the answer."
"Seems like you already do. But don't worry. I'll keep a good eye on her.
And we move away from there, Zorro.
How dare you?
Truly torture to not get your
How
food.
dare you?
Yeah, good thing Pooh didn't have to roll, so this doesn't affect Pooh whatsoever.
Right, yeah.
Pooh Bear, you're up next, and I wanted you
What?
to go last.
Oh, that hurts.
Pooh, you find yourself back home. You find yourself in what you would refer to as the 100 Acre Wood. This is your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
But as you are standing there outside of your own home, you do hear a terrible rumbling from within as you are hungry. And other than that rumbling, the silence is deafening. What would you like to do?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if the silence is deafening, I think it would also be maddening in a sense to Pooh. And I think they would start singing the song that they were singing at the start of this session again, you know. Hum-de-dum, so rumbly, my tumbly. Time to make an early luncheon. And I think just start to kind of like, you know, distract themselves. Bounce along. Have a little hop in their step and just see if... Is Rabbit home?
You go to Rabbit's home and you find no one. You head to your next friend's home and you find no one. One by one, visiting all of your friends' houses and where they normally congregate throughout the 100 Acre Woods, you discover that you are all alone.
Yeah, I think each confirmation of each house, there's less hopping and less joy in each step. I think until finally at the final house, who collapses down to their knees, and I think tears are starting to well up.
As you sit there, overwhelmed with emotion, you also notice that this hunger is only growing. And you cannot find any honey. As if all the pots have been cleaned out. But just as you even for a split second begin thinking too deeply on just the absolute sadness and desperation of that moment, you start to hear a familiar voice. You hear Christopher Robin shouting your name.
Yeah, just
Pooh Bear! Pooh!
Scrambling
Calling for
up
you.
From their knee, just kicking up dust as they do, and just running. I think, yeah, they just feel so small. They feel so scared. They feel so helpless. And they're just running to this only thing that they know to feel safe and comforting.
You rush out and begin running in the direction of Christopher Robin's voice. And as you do, you see Christopher Robin wearing a t-shirt and shorts and simple sneakers. He looks like the boy that you grew up with, that you used to play with back in the 100 Acre Woods, as he is running towards you as well, tears in his eyes, as he finally gets up to you and says, "Oh my God, Pooh Bear! Pooh, where have you been? Where did you go?"
So scared. I didn't know where I was. Oh. Where's everyone, Christopher?
Pooh, what are you talking about? Everyone is still back where we live. Pooh, you left us. You abandoned us, Pooh. Why did you do that? How could you leave us?
True, no. I won't do such a thing.
Pooh, don't lie to me. I was there when you left. You broke my heart. You said that you didn't want to be friends with us anymore, and you left.
Just a tsunami of confusion and pain and agony is just washing over Pooh right now as just like tears are just like flooding down their cheek, and they're just going, "Oh, never do such a thing to me, you, my friends. I love you all so much. You mean the world to me. You're my life."
I want to believe that, Pooh. I just don't know if I can. Not after what you did. And we cut away from there.
Absolutely. How
and
fucking...
It's
You're the
mean. It
worst.
sucks. I know. So sorry, gang.
Stinker.
We head back to Alice. Swing the door open inside your home. The Mad Hatter looking in front of you. Big grin on his face. What are you doing?
She just takes a second, looks right at him, and just says, "Why? Why are you doing this to us?"
Well, I suppose it started all when Miss Moriarty told me about the prophecy and how one day you would put a stop to our plan. And so I had to find you. I had to kill you. And that's why I'm here. Your family just got caught in the... Excuse the pun, but they got caught in the crossfire.
It's just, it breaks me every time. Well, you haven't killed me, and I'm still going to defeat you. But all of this destruction and this pain, it's just made me stronger. You've created this. This is your fault. And I am coming for you.
Well, it takes two to tango.
I never
Shall we
learned how to
dance?
tango. I slammed the door in his face.
You slam the door in the Hatter's face, relinquishing yourself to stay within the burning house. I want you to make an Arcana check.
I mean, yeah, I would also stay in the burning house if that meant not having to listen to those puns.
The crossfire one just came to me.
14.
14. Alice, you're stuck in a vision, in a nightmare.
And yeah, they warned me of this, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
They said, don't trust everything you see. I am trying to take some deep and calming breaths. I'm very highly anxious and upset right now, so I just need to try and re-regulate, and it'll all go away. This isn't real. It's not real. It's not real.
The Hatter begins knocking on the door, but doing that kind of like the Roger Rabbit, like dun 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 dun, over and over again, knocking on the door as you're trying to find inner peace in this moment. As you hear the roiling fire around you beginning to build and the heat is beginning to rise as this nightmare feels real, but you know that you are not actually here. And we step away from there. Watson.
Yes.
Inside your apartment, crowds of reporters outside, all asking for answers. Answers that you may not have. And your trusty companion, although sometimes used in the case that you might need a scapegoat, Sherlock, your owl familiar, perched in their sort of little habitat in the corner, has begun talking to you. What are you doing?
I think that Sherlock, he hears, or Watson, when Watson hears Sherlock talk, I think it kind of triggers a reflex, and he just goes, no, that can't be right. I must have, I can't have missed anything. I have all the evidence right here. And he flies over, gets his case files from that case, spreads them all out over the table, and starts poring over everything again. Like, how could I have missed something? There's no way. I mean, it's all right there.
Go ahead and make an investigation check. As you begin re-looking at all of the case files on this particular diamond heist / murder that you were fundamental in deciding which direction it led the police.
It's a dirty little...
Filthy. Okay. As you are looking over all of the paperwork, looking at different tests that you had run, interviews that you had with witnesses and the like, other suspects, you notice that there was a individual who you spoke to very early on in the investigation. And piecing everything together, doing that thing that Dr. Watson does, at least in our version of the public domain, you realize that this individual lied about something. But at the time, you would never have known that. It was such a small detail, something insignificant that why would anybody lie about that? It was so small. But putting it together with all the extra information that you obtained since that point, it changes everything. And you realize that that individual that you interviewed in the beginning, his name is Mr. Baker, but he is not the Baker. And you think that it is possible that this small mistake in the very beginning sort of spider-webbed out and created a much larger issue down the line. But then, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
How did the diamonds get into the bread?
How did the diamonds get into the bread? That doesn't make sense. There's a crucial piece of information missing here. And you begin to go almost mad, trying to piece what you could not piece before. And we step away from Watson for a moment, and we head to Vanessa. Vanessa, you have come to this terrible, horrible realization as you see people laid out around you in this town square, and the sun is beginning to rise, casting a light on your actions in front of you. What are you doing?
She's looking around and then looking back at her own hands, and she's no, I didn't mean to. I'm always so careful. No, I didn't. I thought they and I think she's gonna run. I think she would take off. She would just start running.
Okay. As you begin running away, trailing off behind you in the direction you just came from, back in the town square, you begin to hear people finding the scene. And you can overhear the sounds of what you imagine, and you probably would have come across something like this in your time as a monster hunter. You hear the forming of an angry mob. Torches, pitchforks, the whole nine. And you hear them all beginning to chant, "Get the monster, get the monster, get the monster."
No.
And you run.
She covers her ears and she runs.
Okay. As you run, I would like for you to make either Arcana, Perception, or Investigation. As you're looking that up, Watson, really quickly, I forgot to say something. In that dirty 20, the investigation check, finding all the things. Wait a minute, how did the diamonds get in the bread? there is a part of you that is beginning to question your reality. Similar to how Alice is sort of realizing, like, wait a minute. There's something about what's happening here that isn't just unexplainable and like it's a mystery and I have to solve it. It's like, no. Something about this
Fundamentally
isn't real.
Right.
Yes. And we step back away from Watson. We head back to Vanessa.
18 Arcana.
18. Has Vanessa ever lost control?
I'm gonna say early on, she would have had an incident where there was a single person that stumbled across her.
Do you think it got so far that she killed that person, or do you think maybe just like scratched that person or something of that nature? Or
I think she doesn't know what happened to that person. I think she hurt them and they were somehow able to get away. She might have came to her senses for half a second, or they were able to get away, but she doesn't know what happened to this person she attacked.
Would she recognize this person?
Yes.
Amazing answer. As you are sprinting around the back of a building, as you're running through like streets of this town, because you were in the town center, so as you're running out of the town and running through streets and alleys trying to get out as fast as possible, avoiding this angry mob that's chasing you behind you, stepping out from behind a corner like they were waiting for you, is this person.
She stops dead in her tracks.
And that person looks at you and says, "Well, Vanessa Helsing, it appears we have a conversation that must be had." And we step away from there as you think that this person looks like that person, right? Physically, that is what they remind you of. That is definitely not what their voice was.
No.
But whose voice is it? And then we step away for real. Zorro, we head over to you. Zorro, you're still in this strange diner, sitting across from Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles says to you,
"So, do you want to see her?"
Yes.
Well, very good. Since you've been such a fun outlet for me, it's the least I can do. Just wait for my food to... My huevos rancheros should be here any minute now. Oh, here they come. Oh, nope, that's for... I hate this place. Let me see if I can get a... Don't worry, I snap at waiters. Come here. Haha. Service staff. You are beneath me. I'm a terrible person. My huevos rancheros in a box. We're going.
and in a few minutes, a server finally returns with huevos rancheros put in a box. And he walks you out of this place. As soon as you exit through the double door entrance, you instantly find yourself in a completely different place. A place you don't recognize. Make a religion check. I didn't think I was going to use that skill in this game.
Shit. Let me see if I get any bonuses to that. I don't think I do. 17.
17. Okay. With the 17, you believe that you have found yourself not in heaven and not in the hells or anything like that, but rather a limbo place, a purgatory, if you will. Not that kind of limbo, Taylor. How dare you? It seems like a expanse of like rocky, mountainous wasteland. Just these strange boulders and rock formations forming hooks coming out of the ground that seems to go on in every direction as a storm wages overhead and purple lightning fires down that sounds not like electricity or like lightning in the way that it should, but rather like nails on a chalkboard quickly reaching the floor. And Mephistopheles looks at you and kind of does one of these, like just opens their arm to show you the place itself, but not necessarily, you don't see your mom right away, and says,
Well, she's here. So is all of the former holders of the Hex Blade. You see, once you take on the mantle of Zorro and wield this Hex Blade, you take on my curse, and so your soul is forfeit. It comes to this place, Purgatory. So I ask you once more, do you wish to see her?
In this moment, Alejandro reaches in his pocket and pulls out his tarot card and looks at the purple skies and the tarot card and the purple skies that surround him. And he says, I just want to tell her a story. One story.
Fair enough. Follow me.
and he begins to lead you deeper into purgatory. Go ahead and make let's do insight, arcana, or insight or arcana. Oh my god, my shoulder.
That's a 16.
16. Which one was it?
The arcana.
Arcana. Cool. Just for flavor reasons. Awesome. As you pull out this tarot card, notice the similarities, not just in your journey with the prophecy and with the other adventurers, but in this place. Thinking about some of the meanings that you've learned or heard of with that card in particular. How sometimes your gifts, your boons, can turn into a curse. And looking around this place, this purgatory, you're noticing that you're not seeing anybody else. There are no other souls here. Something strange about that, and you begin to question how real this is. How 1 moment ago, you were in the Thousand Acre Woods with your friends, consumed by fog, and then attacked by weasels and elephants. And that is fucking weird and doesn't add up. But we step away from there. Pooh Bear, we head back to you.
Chris, talk, please.
Pooh, I want you to make a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay. Peaks and valleys, folks. Peaks, freaking valleys. 1 moment, you're having the night of your life. Second, your day is getting ruined. That's with a -1, a 16.
Okay. Pooh, after a little bit more back and forth between you and Christopher Robin, you do see Christopher Robin's affect begin to change and begin to soften and be more opening in terms of, let's call it like forgiveness or the ability to hear you and to meet you halfway, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And Christopher Robin says, "Oh, geez, Pooh, I was just so mad at the time and worried and scared and sad, and I just felt, dang, I felt every emotion under the sun, I guess. And I'm sorry I took it out on you. That wasn't fair. I'm just glad to have found you, you know?"
So glad I found you as well.
Gosh. Well, where have you been all this time?
I was home. I was looking for everyone in the 100 Acre Woods.
Oh, Pooh. Did you get lost again?
I might have gotten myself turned upside down and flipped around. I don't know where I am right now.
Oh, gosh. Well, I don't know about you, buddy, but I'm starving. I think I have a pot of honey back at my place. Are you interested?
I would love nothing more than a nice little luncheon with you, Christopher Robin.
Incredible. Let's go head towards where I live.
You lead the way. And who's just gonna reach their hand out to hold, like, to grab hands with Christopher Robin.
Absolutely. Christopher Robin grabs your hand, and the two of you begin making your way through the 100 Acre Woods towards Christopher Robin's house. As you do, I would like Pooh to make either an investigation or a perception check.
Okay.
Or Arcana.
Okay, Arcana. Perception, investigation. I'll do perception.
Yeah, they're just like flavor differences in the information I give you, but...
You said with advantage or no?
Not this particular one, no.
Okay, I'm going to reroll just for honesty's sake. Okay. With the +9, that's 22.
22. You're holding Christopher Robin's hand and getting closer and closer to his house. You're starting to realize, as you're looking up at his youthful face, a little strange. You remember when Christopher Robin left to go who knows where when you guys first arrived in the Thousand Acre Woods in the public domains, and Christopher Robin was one of the first to leave. And he didn't leave immediately, but he did eventually leave. And when he did, you don't remember him looking this young. And that seems strange.
That does.
You're also noticing that even in the description I just gave, you're looking up at him.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of notice that in this moment, you're much more similar to Piglet and Tigger and Rabbit, the familiars that you summon, your old friends. You are a stuffed animal that seems to be anthropomorphized to be able to walk and talk and have sentience and everything like that. But you are reaching up, holding the hand of Christopher Robin as you are walking through. And I think it dawns on you that there are aspects of this that don't make sense.
Yeah, I think that, like, the aspects feel like right now on the periphery as, like, the main thing, the main focal thing for Pooh right now is just, like, this has been a sense of familiarity and comfort that Pooh has been chasing ever since they were essentially left behind by everyone else in the Thousand Acre Woods. So for, like, God knows how long, they've been kind of trying to, like, essentially chase the same high that they had when they were with community, with friends, with family, with love, like, just surrounded by that love, and essentially being able to, you know, try to look for something as similar, which unfortunately they were never able to find. But if they had nothing, I think they would have gladly allowed all of the periphery things to wash away and just let this be what it is and just buy into the delusion. I think, however, instead, something that not filled the void, but instead galvanized Pooh in a different way starts to illuminate inside and kind of like shine more on the cracks that are beneath the surface of this facade. And I think that particular thing is Pooh's friendship with Watson, Vanessa, and Alice and Zorro. I think just in this short time, they've been able to find something so tangible, so meaningful, so powerful in their friendships with everyone in this group that they're able to kind of like cut the bullshit that they used to be able to kind of have in their lens through life and be able to see the world for what it is. And I think with that, they kind of like whisper back and go, soft touch. And they go look around and start to notice that things are just starting to feel a little off. And it's probably going to address Christopher Robin and go, fuck, Christopher.
I think Christopher stops walking for a moment when you say that and turns to look at you and very gently puts a hand on each of your shoulders. And before he says anything, we step away from there as we are going to make one more pass through pretty quickly. Alice, you're there inside the house. It is beginning to completely be engulfed in flames around you. The Hatter has stopped knocking at this point and seems to have a fireman's axe and is slamming it into the front door, splintering away as you are trying to find inner peace so that you can break out of this psychic fucking nightmare. It's very much, I'm here. It's very much that. As you're in there and you're trying your hardest to break through this nightmare, the first thing you notice, find this inner peace. All the tragedy, all the hardships that have made you stronger, that sentiment begins to sink in deeper. And the first thing that stops is the fire. The flames subside. Then the Hatter stops chopping away at the front door. And you hear his voice slowly starting to almost trail away, like he is saying this as he is leaving the scene. And he just says, "Wake up!" And with that, Alice, you wake up and you're back in the Thousand Acre Woods.
What the?
And we step away from there. Watson.
Yeah.
Looking through all your investigations, how did the diamonds get into the bread? It must have been the baker.
Has to have been. It literally has to have been.
You start investigating this Mr. Baker figure and all these different things. And Sherlock kind of flies over your shoulder onto all of the papers laid out on the table and sort of starts pecking in a particular direction or something and sort of helps you out. And as you're looking at this, you notice that Mr. Baker is the baker, and they are one and the same. And in fact, you were right all along. And Sherlock looks up at you and speaks to you once more and says, "Wake up!" And you wake up back in the Thousand Acre Woods.
I'm the detective.
And we head back to Vanessa. Vanessa, standing in front of you is this first and only victim that you truly have ever had, as you're starting to notice that there are some inconsistencies in the world around you, as this figure doesn't have the voice of a simple sort of middle-aged dude who, you know, unfortunately came across somebody who's turning into a werewolf. It happens. And instead, what happens is you hear the voice of Dracula coming from this person. Well,
Vanessa, it's been a long time. How goes it? Oh, wait, I have a message for you, actually. Very important, if you don't mind. I know you have lots of words for me, I am sure. But let me just say this one thing so fast, okay? Ready? Wake up! And with that, Vanessa, you wake up and you're back in the Thousand Acre Woods. We cut over to Zorro. Zorro, you have finally gotten to this part where you see I'm going to kind of... you see your almost like semi-phantasmal in the sense of like you can sort of see through them a little bit, like a little spectral. You see your mother and your... Who had it before your mom?
That was
Grandpa,
not told
Grandma?
to me. That was not told to me.
Okay. You see your... I think very early in the season, you said abuela at one point, so we're going to run with that. You see your mother and your abuela sitting down at a table playing dominoes. And you can approach.
Yeah, I just go up and I say, being at that restaurant reminded me of 2 months after you passed, I found your cookbook, the one that abuela gave to you. And every day I kept trying to make your tres leches, and I just couldn't. It just didn't taste right. It just didn't. Every time I cooked it, just wasn't the same. And eventually I realized, even though I followed the recipe perfectly, it was never going to be the same. And I had to let go.
Your mom smiles and grabs your hand and puts it in between her two hands. And she says, Mijo, change is inevitable, and it can be a beautiful thing. But more than that, heed these words. Wake up. And with that, Zorro, you wake up back in the Thousand Acre Woods. We step over to Pooh. Christopher Robin has his hands on both of your shoulders. And as you have confronted him about the inconsistencies of this version of reality, clutching onto your shoulders, shaking you a little bit, Christopher Robin says, Pooh, wake up. Wake up, Pooh. And you wake up back in the Thousand Acre Woods, except a real Christopher Robin is shaking you awake. Older, 5 o'clock shadow, haggard looking, torn clothes, blood coming out of like a cut across their cheek. The Christopher Robin that you do remember is shaking you awake out of this nightmare, saying, Pooh Bear, please.
Who's gonna
Pooh,
reach
listen,
out?
I've been looking for
See
you.
if they're real.
He's real. Pooh, listen, we don't have time. I want to have an amazing reunion, and I want to eat honey cakes with you all the time, but listen, we don't have time. Moriarty, I just came from Moriarty's little hideout. It's about 200 feet over there. You can't see it from here. It's blocked behind an invisible barrier, but listen, she made something. Someone. I don't know how it works. Have you ever heard of Paul Bunyan? And with that, you all begin to hear earthquakes as giant footsteps begin to build insanely fast, like this creature was just around the corner. And as you all have woken out of this stupor, looking, obviously your attention grabbed by Christopher Robin shaking Pooh Bear awake, a massive undead lumberjack pushing trees aside simply by walking into them, as a zombie version of Paul Bunyan, towering above you all, probably 30 feet tall, probably just as, if not taller than, the legally distinct gorilla that you fought in episode 1. As Paul Bunyan's massive 7-foot long foot steps onto Christopher Robin, crushing him. And with that,
shit.
I want everyone to roll for initiative, as that is the end of episode 5. Tune in next time
Oh my
Justin,
to see what happens from here. Anyway, gang, thanks so much for watching this episode of The Public Domains. Thanks for sticking around. It got pretty heavy there for it's still heavy, I suppose. As heavy as a giant lumberjack. Goodness gracious. We have so much to talk about in Alex, I'm so sorry. For the record, I did get consent from Alex for some of these things, but we will talk about it in the Action Surge. Stay tuned for that. You can find So You Want to Be a DM on TikTok and Instagram and Twitch and YouTube and all the lovely places that you can find most things at So You Want to Be a DM. I've been Justin, your Dungeon Master. Let's go around and give introductions one more time and plugs for whatever you want.
Hey everyone, it's Daniel. As you can tell, the energy that I started with is not the same I ended with, but you can find me at Daniel the DM on TikTok and YouTube, probably crying about this emotional episode.
Yeah, I honestly can't speak. But I'm Taylor. I'm the other half of So You Want to Be a DM. Like Justin said, you can find us Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget the Spotify where the actual podcast is. Find all the links down below.
I'm Jen. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as Cancer Moon Cleric, I guess.
Yeah, I'm Kayla. I'm also Shuka. You can find me on Potions of Potpourri, probably also talking about the trauma of this episode. Find it wherever you get your podcasts and on social medias or whatever.
I'm the Shooketh Meat Suit, formerly known as Alex, who played Winnie the Pooh, the victim of said trauma that we have finished tonight's session on. After some much needed therapy, you can find me on socials, Instagram and TikTok as Pisces Moon Paladin. I love you all. Wild.
And I love you all.
Thank you,
This is why
Justin.
Session Zero is so important, gang. You gotta go over some things. And if you're gonna do some fucked up shit to Christopher Robin, you have to ask Winnie the Pooh if it's okay way early on.
This was a sanctioned murder.
Oh my god.
Yes. But also, it's up to Watson. He's the one who tuned with a magical sword that has 2 uses of heal. Do we use it on an NPC? Will Taylor let his metagaming knowledge get the best of him? Tune in next time for the next episode, the finale of The Public Domains.
Oh.
Please.